Hey guys, Ernie here and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. One thing that's kind of always in the back of my mind, I don't worry about it, I don't stress about it, but I always think a little bit about emergency situations. What would I do if there's an emergency? How would I take care of the people that I love in emergency situations? One of the most comforting things you can do is have a warm meal or a warm drink, especially if it's cold. So having some type of an emergency stove is very important. Also having some kind of an emergency kit. I'm starting to plan a replacement kit for my car, an emergency kit for my car, and I started to think about, well, what gear do I have that I can use, and what's some new gear? And of course, anytime I have a chance or a reason to buy and test out new gear, I'm going to do it, and that's what today's stove is all about. Stay tuned, we're going to check out an awesome little emergency stove. It is just for emergencies, but it might be just what I'm looking for. Thanks for watching, guys. So when putting this kit together for my car, I want to be smart about it. I don't want to put a $150 stove into a kit that I probably won't and hope to never really use. I mean, it's an emergency kit. You want stuff that's functional, that works, that's high quality, good enough to last, but it's not something that you would spend a lot of money on. A lot of the kit will be from gear that I already have, but some of it will be more purpose bought, like this particular kit or this particular product. When we're discussing stove options, there's a lot of different things that you can use. You could use a gas stove, you could use a solid fuel stove, you could use an alcohol stove, you could use a wood stove. At the end of the day, my preference is going to probably be a wood stove, right? Because wood is readily available, but the truth is that you can't always have an open flame everywhere you need it. Even like in a car or something, I mean, you couldn't, but inside you can't do that. A solid fuel stove gives you the most flexibility from the standpoint of fuel that is shelf stable, that will last for freaking ever. It's relatively lightweight. You can pack quite a bit into your kit and you can use it pretty much anywhere you want. That's why I chose a solid fuel stove. So now that we've decided on the type of fuel that we're going to use, let's take a look at the stove that I picked out. Okay, this is the Esbit Ultralight Emergency Fuel Stove. Pull it out of its little plastic baggie. I would suggest you keep these in a plastic bag because these things kind of stink. Pretty strong. And this is the stove, folds flat. You can see that it is essentially folded flat. I mean, you're going to be folding and unfolding this multiple times. The dimensions are 3.4 by 4.5 by 1/16 inch. You can see it's very, very thin. Weight is 2.6 ounces with 3 fuel tablets. Here's 2 fuel tablets, 3 fuel tablets. You can get a big box like this for a pretty reasonable price. Okay, I went ahead and picked more up because I'm a little bit low. It does come with 3 fuel tablets. It's made out of an alloy steel. Costs $6. Not too bad, right? $6. Made in Germany. Features, it folds flat, as you can see. It claims you can fold it and unfold it 15 times before it starts to lose its structural integrity. It's essentially its own windscreen. I'll show you guys real quick how you fold it. Fold this up, bring these this way, and then you fold these tight to it, and there it is. Your fuel sits right inside there where you can see, and it is its own windscreen. Pot fits right on top here. That is pretty awesome how it'll basically just, you know, your pot will sit here, right? And it creates its own little windscreen. Enough air gap there to let air in. Air comes in through the sides. Of course, you need air for combustion, and it works super, super well. Pretty simple. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that, guys. Pretty cool little stove. $6. I don't know if I mentioned that. $6. That's with 3 tablets. I don't know how much this little thing is, but you know, it is a throwaway stove. It's for emergencies only, like we'll talk about, in my opinion. But for $6, that's a pretty good deal. We're going to boil 2 cups of water and see how long one of our Esbit cubes boils for, or burns for, sorry. These are the original 14-gram versions. They have tons of different sizes now, smaller and bigger. But this is the original 14-gram, catches fire pretty easily and pretty quickly. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and fold this back for you guys so you can see how easily it does fold back. I would put it up against something like this, fold it down, and then just finish it off by just barely bringing it down. And it becomes very, very flat again, just like that. You can put this back for storage, like that. Store it in a little plastic baggie like this. I think that is best. And you can put this in any emergency kit you want. Store as many of these little cubes as you want, and you got yourself a pretty nice little emergency stove. Let's boil some water. So that is about as simple a stove as you can possibly get. One of the things I was curious about was whether or not you could easily fold it back flat. I've had no problems. They say you can fold it back flat 15 times. I bet you can probably do it more if you're careful. But the truth is, once you fold it into shape, if you're in an emergency, you probably keep it the way it is. You won't just keep folding it flat back and forth, but it does have that option. So let's quickly talk pros and cons. We'll start with the pros. It is cheap. We're talking about a $6 stove with 3 fuel tablets. The perfect kind of thing to just pop straight into your emergency kit. I would suggest putting extra fuel tablets. These are the 14-gram tablets, like I said. I would suggest putting more in, but for $6, you can't beat the actual stove and 3 tablets. It's reusable. It folds flat. It is super lightweight, super packable. Fits all those bills. Now there are some cons, of course. It does have a lifespan. If you fold it back and forth, eventually it's going to break, and it really won't support a tremendous amount of weight. Now both those things I don't think really matter in this case. You're not going to be boiling 2 gallons of water with one little 14-gram Esbit cube, so you're going to be doing something very small, so it doesn't really matter. But they are cons that we have to talk about. From the standpoint of an emergency kit, it's perfect. $6 for this kit. You can buy another 12 tablets for like $10, so you can have a total of 15 tablets for about 18 bucks. That's a pretty good deal. That's a very nice emergency kit budget. 15 boils of 2 cups of water, 1 stove, $18. That's the kind of thing that I'm going to put into an emergency kit like this and not worry about it because it's not too much money. Now keep in mind, this is not a stove for long-term survival. I don't think you would use this long-term. This is just for short periods of time. Got to get out of trouble. It's perfect for that. But if you need something for longer lasting, then I would get more of a permanent, either solid fuel stove if you want it, or a solid fuel stove with a wood burning stove. I've said it plenty of times. I think that solid fuel is way overlooked in YouTube videos, in just consideration from people when they're looking at different ways to fuel an emergency stove or a stove, even on trail. What's his name? Can't remember his name, but there's a guy, one of the OG backpackers. I'll leave his name down here. One of the OG backpackers is gonna come to me here in a second. One of the OG backpackers, he uses solid fuel almost every trip now, and that's pretty cool. It's overlooked, but it is definitely worth. If you've never tried it out, try it out because it's pretty cool. Syntax 77. Syntax 77. Check out his videos if you never have. Very cool channel. He goes on a lot of cool ultralight trips, and he uses solid fuel a lot of the time. So like I said, it's got a lot of upside if you've never considered it, not just for emergency stoves. Give it a try. Do me a favor, guys. If you like the video, do a couple things. First off, I have a playlist on stoves. Well over 200 videos on the stove now, on the stove playlist now, which is really cool. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Comment down below. Really helps spread things across YouTube. But the biggest thing you can do, if you're not subscribed, I'm looking right at you. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscription button. You never know. Maybe you'll learn something cool. Maybe you'll find a product you were not aware of and now you want to pick up. Maybe you'll learn a cooking trick or tip or something, whatever it might be. Maybe you love coffee like we do around here and you want to see more coffee products. Hit that subscription button down below. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you checking out the channel. I'm out doing a trip, shooting a bunch of videos, having a lot of fun doing that. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I miss my people back at home, but nonetheless, it's fun to come out and do my thing. As always, guys, I appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Stay tuned for more videos soon.